month of November, President Obama said his first priority on immigration was to remove genuine threats to our security. Remember?
We're going to keep focusing enforcement resources on actual threats to our security. Felons, not families. Criminals, not children. Gang members, not a mom who's working hard to provide for her kids. We'll prioritize, just like law enforcement does every day.
But new training documents given to immigration officials tell a much different story. Agents are now being asked to actively search for illegals who might qualify for amnesty. Doesn't this make it harder for them to secure our border? We're going to ask John Gihon, a former senior attorney for Immigration and Customs Enforcement. Thanks for being with us, John. Can you do both at the same time efficiently? Can you check for eligibility and maintain proper security?
Good morning, guys. Thanks for having me back. This new directive from DHS has the potential to have a negative and detrimental effect on both our border security and therefore our national security. It looks like an utter waste of time. These agents who are at the border are our first line of defense against terrorists, drug traffickers, and weapon smugglers. Every minute that they spend screening someone for deferred action eligibility is another minute they can't spend doing their jobs, protecting our border, and keeping us safe.
Yeah, so essentially the agents who are protecting us are suddenly becoming clerks. I've just apprehended you. Now I'm going to ask you 20 questions to see if we can avoid deporting you. This would be akin to the IRS. They've got your return on their table and they're going, you know what? I think you should try to qualify for this deduction, which is kind of crazy. That's not the job. Why? Why?
Steve, that's a very good point. The biggest thing is that the president, even under this new executive action, he said that people who have recently and illegally entered our country, they're on the top of the list as far as priorities for deportation. So to ask Border Patrol officers who have just caught someone who has illegally entered the United States and has committed one or more federal felonies, to ask them to screen this person for eligibility is unreasonable, because so few of these people who have just entered the United States illegally could possibly be eligible for this sort of benefit and this sort of deferred action, that it's unreasonable and it's a waste of resources and a waste of time.
Sure. I mean, to see what they have to do here, I mean, first they're to ask if the illegal is, if they qualify for amnesty, then find jailed illegals who might qualify for amnesty, and then suspend deportation cases for immigrants in the United States illegally. Here, the government tells agents to ID immigrants, not deport, but I'm just doing the math here. It seems to undermine security. I think that's the bottom line here, is that security is supposed to be our #1 priority, but this seems to downplay that, no?
And Elizabeth, it makes sense for ICE on the interior of the United States to identify people who are in detention facilities who might have eligibility for benefits. If ultimately they're going to be able to stay here, then let's not waste resources detaining them unless they are a danger to the community. But at the border, where we have to have the boots on the ground, we have to have these agents who risk their lives every day keeping us safe. They cannot waste their time screening people for benefits when 99.9% of them are not going to be eligible. It puts our border security and national security at risk.
It just looks like they're looking for every reason possible not to deport people who in many cases should be. John Gihon, a former ICE senior attorney, joining us today from Orlando. John, thank you.
Thanks, John.
Thank you.
All right, it is 13.